What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more J-drama soundtrack. And we're back with another tune from the Mozu show. I mentioned it before, one of my favorite J-dramas, especially like if I classify it in the subcategory of like serious kind of gritty shows, which is to say I watch like comedies and romance and a number of other genres like sci-fi. So, but yeah, if I were to make a list of sort of like, you know, crime or political intrigue or sort of just, again, gritty like neo-noir shows, this would be right near the top of any list, no matter where the country of origin the show is from. But yeah, the first season, as I mentioned before, is particularly good. Both seasons are great, and I think season 2 does finish things off excellently, but season 1 to me is where it's really at. And the subtitle for season 1 is Shrikes, Shouting Night or Shrieking Night. A shrike being a type of bird that is used thematically, both visually and narratively in the show. And yeah, we're going to listen to a tune that bears the name of the show, which Mozu is the Japanese word for a shrike. And I already reacted to Mozu, the main theme, which is like, it's dramatic and it's sort of multi-sectioned. But it's essentially the main theme fully realized. It has sort of an orchestral feel, also some like fast sort of kind of like drum and bass drums. But yeah, it's a big sort of grand sweeping tune. Then I reacted to the Mozu strings version, which is a more intimate, more heavy and emotional and sort of sad kind of rendering of the piece. And again, it's, you know, performed by violins and cellos, and the cello work in particular is just brilliant. And then the final version we're going to hear here is Mozu PF. PF, I think, in this context stands for pianoforte, which, if you didn't know, is sort of the real or like the full name of the instrument we call the piano, which, you know, the idea is that some instruments, like a harpsichord, you hit the key and it plucks a string. It doesn't matter like how hard you hit the key, it just plucks the string. Whereas piano, it's like a hammer, like hitting a tone essentially, and so the differences in the strength with which you hit a key makes a difference in terms of how loud the note is played. So you can play it more piano quietly or more forte, more forcefully, more loudly. So the idea of the piano is it's an instrument that, unlike some others, you can play the same notes at different intensities. So pianoforte, there you go. I'm not a music major, but you know, I did take a history of music class when I was in college. Nevertheless, as I said, this is Mozu PF. The soundtrack is done by Kanno Yugo, seen here in the upper corner, so shout out to him. The show is from 2013, or at least the first season is. I think the second season maybe 2014. They eventually made a movie, I think like 2015, but the movie, just to be clear, is like season 1 condensed into an hour and a half. I wouldn't recommend it. It's cool, it's fine, but just watch season 1, which is like a longer, fuller, better version of the story. So here we go. This is Mozu, the PF version by Kanno Yugo from the Mozu soundtrack 2013. Play a piece very slowly but forcefully.
I enjoy it a great deal. It's interesting because it's the same melody. Obviously, it has a very different feel rendered that way. Again, the original sort of like main version is very sweeping and grand, and there are big things happening. As I said, the strings version, which is probably my favorite, it's like heavy and deep and mournful. This version, it's the most intimate. It's like very like precise, and it feels like it's just like you and one other person, or it's just like it's a tight, like very intimate moment in the story. So yeah, it has definitely a different atmosphere than the other two versions, but it's interesting. You listen to all three, and it's sort of like an evolution or a story of that motif over the course of the three versions. And again, once you know the story, there's sort of different points that you could sort of apply all those three versions to. Not only like, in that they actually play at certain parts of the story, but you can think about themes of the show, and one of the three in different cases would be more relevant or more appropriate in terms of capturing the moral gravity of what's happening, or the emotional sort of gravity of what's happening. So yeah, bottom line, shout out to Kanno Yugo. Really love the soundtrack, and I really love that main melody that again comes back in multiple iterations. So yeah, let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time. Peace.